Hi guys, it's Jacob from Stringbuzz here, stringbuzzworld.org being a music journalism site, links are in the description down below, and we have a brand new song review for you today, and it's the latest track by Jamiroquai, and that's Cloud 9, so I'm going to refer to the original article as I usually do for these videos, so I hope you enjoy. So even though Automaton seemed to split a lot of people's opinions about the group and their new found approach, I must admit that I really did like that track personally, and I'm hence embracing what they are trying to do right now. Sure, it's a little bit more experimental than a lot of what people expected them to really hear from them this time around, but for me that's a good thing, and it's really sort of vintage Jamiroquai stuff if you look back in their discography. So should we see what I thought of this brand new track? Well, yet again, I thought it was pretty darn good, and it had a lot of elements really working in its favour. I will say that I think Automaton is still my personal favourite out of the two tracks that we've had released off of this new album thus far, but I can respect what they tried to do this time around. It's like the perfect follow-up track to calm those who aren't really a fan of the new approach. It's signature Jamiroquai with that funky bass, plucky guitar, simplistic melodies, and general disco flavouring. Basically everything they are known for doing, and at their best. Production-wise, I really felt that this is one of the best mixes we've had thus far this week. It's just so thick and sturdy and so strong, and the stereo field feels inflated and wondrous as well. The bass is loud, fairly sure, it is quite loud, but it doesn't swamp the mix in any way, and instead carries an almost distorted electronic type tone to it, which really worked well in my opinion. The guitar is also fairly loud, louder than I typically expected it to be, but again, it doesn't stand out in the way that it's swamping anything, and instead adds that creamy mid-ground over the bass, which is very basic but fun and clean and just nice sounding. Even though everything is quite loud, it's never in your face, and it just sounds bolstered in that sense. The vocals are a touch quieter, I will admit, but they sit into the mix very nicely, and when the dynamics do change, JK has to pipe out some bigger notes in some specific areas. He still cuts through the mix marvellously well when he has to. Honestly, this is one of the best production cycles I've heard in a little while now. Musicality wise, they've decided to go for a more of a sleeper tactic approach this time around. It's not particularly frenetic or wild or anything like that, like their previous few efforts, but instead quite concentrated and laid back onto particular themes which I found quite engaging and exciting. I think the bass line yet again is unreal, and Paul Turner is staking a claim as to why he's the best bassist in Jamiroquai's long lineup history rather than Stuart Zender, a case I didn't think was possible, but now I'm beginning to eat my words. And yeah, he's probably the best bassist in their history, which might not seem like much of a claim, but I have before said that Stuart Zender's probably in my top 5 favourite bassists of all time, so yeah, it's looking for a lineup change there as well. The guitar instrumental melody was very basic, sure, and I guess I would have perhaps liked it to be like a little bit more exploratory in certain sections, but it did the job, and again was very, very catchy. JK puts in a very decent vocal performance on this track, and I enjoy the melody which he produced as well. I will say that he did perhaps hold back a little bit too much every now and then, not really pulling me in as much as I'd like him to be, but then Jamiroquai have made tracks like this in the past, which do put the vocals to one side, with the instrumentals being the real driving force to the track. I also liked a little more variation in the bridge. Perhaps I would have preferred that, because it was a bit of a letdown, and I think the track was building to much bigger of a climax that we never really got, which again was a bit of a shame. Lyrically, we were given some more weird and wacky concepts, and the usual atmospheric, spatial, sort of intergalactic type spiel we usually get from the group and what they're known for, and honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. So all in all, a fun little track that is definitely worth a listen. I do recommend it. It's made me immensely excited for the album, which I was already with the track Automaton, and this is just backing it up really. It's sort of the perfect secondary single. It basically makes those fans who are worried from the last single, because the last single was very exploratory, experimental, lots of key changes, kind of wild. This track is very much more sort of signature vintage Jamiroquai sort of flavourings, like I've said in this review. So I gave it a G rating of 7.5 out of 10, which is well above average. If you like this video, then please leave a like, subscribe to see more, and I'll see you around next time. Bye bye.